Have you ever felt an inexplicable unease around someone? They smile, they speak with kindness, and yet something feels off. It's as if their presence drains the energy from the room, leaving you questioning your instincts. But here's the unsettling truth. Evil rarely announces itself. It doesn't come with a menacing glare or a villain's laugh. Instead, it wears a mask of charm, generosity, and even concern. You don't recognize it until you're trapped, until your confidence is shattered, your reality twisted, and your peace stolen. But what if you could see it before it was too late? What if there were unmistakable signs warning you that the person next to you is not who they seem? In Stoic philosophy, we are taught that true wisdom lies in perceiving reality as it is, unclouded by illusion. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you surround yourself with deception, manipulation, and toxicity, it will inevitably shape you. Today, I'll reveal 7 red flags that expose those who seek to manipulate, control, and harm you. Learn these, and you won't just avoid pain, you'll reclaim your power. Let's begin. 1. Twisting reality and gaslighting. Have you ever had a memory so clear that you could swear it happened, only to have someone tell you that you're wrong? At first, you insist, but they laugh it off, saying you must be overthinking. The next time it happens, you start wondering if you misremembered. By the 3rd time, you hesitate before trusting your own perception. This is not forgetfulness. It is a slow and deliberate dismantling of your sense of reality. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious forms of manipulation, designed not just to deceive you, but to make you doubt yourself. Unlike a simple lie, it is a calculated effort to alter your perception until you begin to question your own sanity. The person doing it does not seek to argue facts. They aim to confuse you so thoroughly that you surrender your own truth and replace it with theirs. They shift conversations, twist words, deny past promises, and paint you as irrational whenever you challenge them. Over time, you stop defending yourself, not because you agree, but because you no longer trust your own judgment. Imagine being in a conversation where you recall something vividly, a promise, a hurtful remark, a decision you both made. But when you bring it up, they respond with unwavering certainty. That never happened. You pause, unsure. The more confident they are, the more hesitant you become. Then comes the final blow. You always do this. You exaggerate things. You twist my words. The moment shifts from proving what happened to proving that you are not irrational. And once you begin defending yourself instead of your memory, they have won. Gaslighters operate on a simple principle. If they can make you doubt your own mind, they can control you. They do not argue to prove a point. They argue to exhaust you. Their goal is not to be right, but to make you feel so lost that you stop resisting altogether. A confused mind is easier to manipulate. The more you second-guess yourself, the more power they gain. Stoicism teaches us that clarity of mind is the foundation of strength. Epictetus warned that when we place too much trust in things outside our control, we lose control over ourselves. The truth is, your perception is yours to guard. No one has the right to dictate how you see the world or force you to question your own experiences. The moment you allow someone to rewrite your reality, you give them control over your thoughts, your emotions, and ultimately, your life. Marcus Aurelius once said that we have power over our minds, not outside events. This is the essence of Stoic resilience, recognizing that while you cannot always change what others do, you can choose how much of it you allow into your consciousness. The moment you sense someone distorting your reality, you must hold firm. When they deny what you know to be true, do not seek their validation. When they make you feel irrational for remembering correctly, resist the urge to explain yourself. Your reality is not up for debate. A manipulator does not need to use force to break you. They only need to plant doubt, to watch as you unravel yourself from within. They will tell you that you are overreacting. They will accuse you of being too sensitive. They will convince you that the problem is not their deception, but your perception. And if they succeed, you will start apologizing for defending your truth. You will begin seeking their approval for what you should already know. You will silence yourself before they even have to. The only way to defeat a gaslighter is to stop playing their game. Do not argue with someone who is not interested in the truth. Do not defend yourself against accusations meant to destabilize you. Trust in what you know. Protect your mind as fiercely as you would protect your body. Keep a record of what happens if necessary, not to convince them, but to remind yourself that you are not imagining things. The moment you recognize the pattern, step away. A person who manipulates reality to control you will never willingly hand you the truth. It is up to you to hold on to it. Have you ever felt trapped in a situation where someone made you doubt your own reality? If so, how did you navigate it? Your story might help someone else recognize the signs before it's too late. Let's discuss in the comments. 2. Fake kindness and manipulative empathy. Have you ever met someone who always appears just when you need help, says exactly what you want to hear, and treats you like you are the most important person in the world, only to later realize that their kindness was never truly selfless? It wasn't about you, it was about control. The most dangerous people do not announce themselves with threats or hostility. Instead, they present themselves as a savior, a friend, a protector. They don't force you to depend on them, they make you believe you need them. At first, their kindness feels warm and reassuring. They offer support, they listen, they make sacrifices for you. They always seem to know what you need and provide it at the perfect moment. But over time, something shifts. Their generosity starts to feel less like a gift and more like a debt. Every favor they do for you is subtly recorded, waiting to be repaid in ways you never agreed to. You start feeling guilty for saying no, hesitant to set boundaries, fearful of disappointing them. Slowly, their kindness turns into a leash, and you are no longer free. The manipulation is not obvious. It comes in whispers, in the careful framing of words, in gentle reminders of all they have done for you. I just want what's best for you. After everything I've done, I thought you'd understand. I sacrificed so much for you, and this is how you treat me. What once felt like love and care now feels suffocating. You begin to wonder if you are being ungrateful, if you owe them something, if they were right all along. But real kindness does not demand repayment. Real kindness does not leave you feeling trapped. Imagine a friend who constantly does things for you, drives you to work, pays for meals, helps you with personal problems. At first, you feel lucky to have them, but as time goes on, the balance of power starts to shift. One day, you politely decline an offer, and their expression darkens. They remind you of all the times they were there for you. You suddenly feel guilty, even though you did nothing wrong. You start agreeing to things not because you want to, but because you feel like you owe them. Their kindness was never meant to uplift you, it was meant to trap you. A truly good person does not remind you of their goodness. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." The Stoics understood that virtue is not something to be used as leverage. A person who helps with sincerity does so because it is right, not because it earns them power over you. Those who use kindness as a tool for control are not acting out of virtue, they are acting out of self-interest. A manipulator does not care about your well-being, they care about the hold they have over you. The danger lies in how difficult it is to recognize. Unlike open cruelty, manipulative kindness makes you feel grateful, even when it is hurting you. You might find yourself making excuses for their behavior, convincing yourself that their actions come from love. But love does not keep score. Love does not make you feel obligated. Love does not demand loyalty in return for a favor. If someone's kindness comes with invisible strings, it is not kindness, it is control. To break free, you must first recognize the pattern. A manipulator's power lies in your sense of obligation. The more indebted you feel, the harder it is to walk away. But the truth is, you do not owe them anything. If kindness comes with conditions, it was never kindness at all. A person who truly values you will never make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They will never turn their past generosity into a weapon against you. Setting boundaries is the first step. If someone's kindness makes you uncomfortable, listen to that feeling. Observe how they react when you say no. A genuine friend will respect your space. A manipulator will push back, making you feel like you are betraying them. The next time they remind you of their past favors, resist the urge to explain yourself. You do not need to justify your right to personal freedom. When they attempt to guilt-trip you, stay firm. The moment you apologize for something you did not do, you surrender control. One of the most effective ways to protect yourself is to return the power of choice to yourself. If someone says, "I've done so much for you, how could you say no?" Respond with calm certainty. "I appreciate what you've done, but my decisions are my own." This simple but firm stance removes their ability to manipulate you. The more you stand your ground, the clearer their intentions will become. A manipulative person's greatest fear is losing their grip on you. The moment you recognize their pattern, they will try to guilt you, make you feel selfish, or paint you as ungrateful. Do not fall for it. A good person will respect your boundaries. A manipulator will try to break them. If their kindness feels like a chain, it is time to break free. If their generosity comes at the cost of your peace, it is not worth it. Your freedom is not something you owe to anyone. If kindness comes with conditions, it was never kindness at all. Have you ever experienced this type of manipulation? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your insight may help someone else recognize the truth before it's too late. 3. Isolation and control tactic. Have you ever looked around and realized that the people who once surrounded you, your family, your close friends, your trusted mentors, are no longer there? Not because you drifted apart naturally, but because someone else subtly, methodically pushed them away. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens in whispers, in doubts planted like seeds, in small choices that seem innocent at first, but gradually reshape your world. By the time you notice, it's too late. The only person left standing beside you is the one who orchestrated it all. This is not coincidence. It is not bad luck. It is a deliberate tactic of control. Manipulative people isolate their victims, not with chains or threats, but with calculated influence. They convince you that others misunderstand you, that your friends don't truly care, that your family is against you. They do not force you to cut ties. Instead, they make you want to. And once they succeed, you are theirs. It starts with subtle comments, little doubts planted in your mind. I don't think your friends really support you. Your family doesn't understand you like I do. They're just jealous of you. Slowly, these words change how you see the people around you. The ones who once felt like home now seem distant, unreliable, even dangerous. One by one, your relationships suffer, not because of direct conflict, but because you start pulling away, questioning their intentions. The manipulator doesn't need to do the cutting for you. They just need to make you feel like you should. At first, It feels like protection. You believe that this person is the only one who truly understands you, the only one who sees your worth. They frame themselves as your safest place, your truest ally. But the closer you get to them, the further you get from everyone else. They create a world where they are your only source of support, your only voice of reason, your only option. And when they finally show their true nature, when their kindness turns to control, when their love turns to demands, there is no one left to save you. This is how isolation works. It is not a sudden event, but a slow unraveling of your connections, until one day you wake up completely dependent on the very person who took everything away from you. At that point, leaving no longer feels like an option. Who would you turn to? Who would believe you? When your world has been reduced to one person, they become your entire reality. Seneca once said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." A true friend, a true partner, a true mentor, these are people who encourage your growth, who expand your world, who introduce you to new perspectives and relationships. A manipulator does the opposite. They shrink your world, limit your choices, and make sure that your only source of validation comes from them. They do not want you to be strong. They want you to be dependent. The only way to break free from this trap is to recognize it early. Ask yourself, are my relationships naturally shifting, or am I being influenced to pull away? If someone in your life repeatedly discourages you from seeing friends, criticizes your family, or makes you feel like they are the only person who truly understands you, step back. Question why. A healthy relationship, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, never requires isolation. If someone truly cares about you, they will encourage you to keep meaningful connections, not cut them off. Once you see the pattern, start rebuilding. Reach out to the people you once trusted. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but true relationships withstand time and distance. The people who genuinely care about you will always welcome you back. The manipulator will try to stop you. They will guilt-trip you, make you feel like you are betraying them, tell you that no one else will accept you now. Do not believe them. Their power lies in your loneliness. The moment you reconnect with others, their control begins to break. If someone is making you choose between them and the people who love you, the choice is clear. No one who truly values you would ever ask you to cut off those who make you happy. Love does not isolate. Love does not demand exclusivity. Love does not make you feel alone. If their presence in your life means sacrificing everyone else, they are not a blessing, they are a prison. Have you ever experienced this kind of manipulation? If so, how did you regain your freedom? Your story could help someone else recognize the warning signs before it's too late. Let's talk in the comments. Fourth, constant undermining and criticism. Have you ever shared an achievement with someone, expecting a moment of joy, only to be met with indifference, a dismissive shrug, or worse, a passive-aggressive remark that makes you question whether your success was even worth celebrating? At first, it seems like nothing, just a small comment. But over time, it becomes a pattern. Every accomplishment is met with a subtle jab, every moment of confidence is chipped away, and every dream you share is met with skepticism. This is not constructive criticism. This is not tough love. This is deliberate undermining, a calculated effort to keep you doubting yourself, to make sure you never feel fully capable, fully confident, or fully independent. It is one of the most effective weapons of a manipulative person because it does not destroy you outright. Instead, it wears you down slowly, making you question your worth until you no longer trust your own abilities. At first, they frame it as concern. They say they just want you to stay realistic, to avoid getting ahead of yourself. You get a promotion, and they say, Well, let's see how long that lasts. You reach a personal milestone and they remind you of someone who did it better or faster. You share an idea and they smirk. Are you sure about that? It is never outright cruelty, just small, carefully placed doubts. The real danger is that their words do not sound like insults. They sound like guidance. They sound like wisdom. And because you trust them, you listen. You internalize their skepticism. You start believing that maybe you are not as capable as you thought. Maybe you do need their constant feedback. Maybe without them, you would fail. This is not how a healthy relationship functions. A true friend, a true mentor, a true partner wants to see you grow. They challenge you? Yes, but they do so with encouragement, with belief in your potential. They do not make you feel small. They do not plant seeds of doubt where confidence should be. They do not take joy in your hesitation. A manipulative person, however, thrives on your self-doubt. The more you question yourself, the easier you are to control. If you stop believing in your own abilities, you will start relying on them to validate your choices. If you doubt your own decisions, you will start seeking their approval before making a move. And once they have positioned themselves as the authority on what you should and should not do, they own you. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Growth requires the courage to fail, to try again, to believe in yourself even when others do not. But those who constantly undermine you do not want you to improve. They want you to stay exactly where you are, doubting, hesitating, afraid. Because a person who second-guesses themselves is easier to manipulate. The way to break free from this cycle is recognition. Pay attention to the patterns. Do you feel less confident around them? Do you hesitate to share your dreams because you already know what their response will be? Do you find yourself shrinking in their presence, holding back your excitement, questioning your worth? If so, it is not in your head. It is not just you being sensitive. It is a deliberate pattern designed to keep you dependent. A person who genuinely cares about you celebrates your success. They do not make you feel like your achievements are insignificant. They do not compare you to others in a way that makes you feel small. They do not make encouragement feel like something you must earn. The people in your life should inspire you to reach higher, not make you afraid to stand tall. If you recognize this pattern, set boundaries. Stop explaining yourself to those who never listen. Stop seeking validation from those who refuse to give it. Most importantly, do not shrink yourself to make them comfortable. The moment you stop playing into their game, the moment you start trusting your own judgment instead of seeking their approval, their power over you fades. A manipulative person's greatest fear is losing influence over you. The moment they realize their words no longer make you hesitate, they will either escalate their tactics or move on to someone more vulnerable. Either way, you win, because the greatest revenge against someone who tried to keep you small is to become bigger than they ever imagined. So ask yourself, are the people around you building you up or pulling you down? If their words do not inspire you, if their presence does not encourage growth, if their support always comes with a hidden but, step away. You do not need permission to believe in yourself. You do not need approval to be proud of what you have accomplished. You are enough, and you always have been. 5. Cold betrayal and no remorse. Have you ever trusted someone so deeply, only to realize that your trust was never valued? That while you saw them as a friend, a partner, or even family, they only saw you as an opportunity? Betrayal is painful, but what makes it truly devastating is when it comes without hesitation, without remorse, without a second thought. It is not an accident. It is not a moment of weakness. It is a deliberate choice, one made by those who do not see loyalty as a virtue, but as a tool to be used and discarded. A person with no conscience does not hesitate before breaking your trust. They do not struggle with their decision, nor do they lose sleep over the harm they cause. To them, betrayal is not a moral dilemma. It is simply a means to an end. If turning against you benefits them, they will do it. If lying about you gives them an advantage, they will not hesitate. If hurting you is necessary to elevate themselves, they will not think twice. And when the damage is done, when you stand there in shock, expecting at least a hint of regret, you will find nothing. No guilt, no apologies, just cold indifference. At first you may try to rationalize it. Maybe they were desperate. Maybe they made a mistake. Maybe deep down they do feel bad, but they don't, and they won't. Because a person who can betray without remorse is not like you. They do not value relationships the way you do. To them, people are not companions, not friends, not partners in trust. They are resources. And when a resource is no longer useful, it is discarded without hesitation. The most dangerous part is that they do not always leave after they betray you. Some will stay, watching, waiting, just in case they need you again. They will act as if nothing happened, as if their betrayal was just a misunderstanding. If confronted, they will not take responsibility. Instead, they will shift the blame, twist the narrative, and even gaslight you into believing it was your fault. And if you allow them back into your life, they will do it again. Because for them, betrayal is not a mistake, it is a pattern. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." A person of virtue does not lower themselves to the level of those who deceive, manipulate, and betray. True strength lies not in retaliation, but in choosing to walk away, refusing to become like them. The moment you recognize that someone is capable of betrayal without remorse, the best thing you can do is let them go. Do not wait for an apology that will never come. Do not expect them to feel guilt. They won't. Do not waste your time trying to make them understand the pain they have caused. They already know. They just don't care. The more time you spend hoping for closure, the longer you allow their presence to poison your life. Some wounds are not meant to be healed with an apology. Some wounds are only healed by distance. The hardest part about betrayal is that it changes the way you see the world. It makes you question who you can trust, if you can trust at all. It makes you replay conversations, second-guess relationships, and wonder if you were ever truly valued in the first place. This is why betrayal is so powerful. It does not just take something from you, it changes you, but only if you let it. A Stoic does not waste time mourning the loss of those who were never truly loyal. A Stoic understands that trust, once broken, should not be given back so easily. If someone has shown you that they are willing to betray without guilt, take it as the only proof you need. Believe their actions over their words. No matter how convincing their explanations, no matter how much they try to justify it, their actions have already told you everything you need to know. So how do you move forward? First, accept that you will never get the closure you want. Stop searching for an apology, an explanation, or a moment of regret from them. It will never come. Second, cut them off completely. No second chances, no space for them to return when it is convenient for them. The moment you give them another opportunity, they will prove to you again why you should not have. Most importantly, do not let their betrayal change who you are. It is easy to become bitter, to start seeing the world as cold and untrustworthy. But that is how they win. Their betrayal should be a lesson, not a curse. Learn from it, grow from it, but do not let it close your heart forever. There are still people in this world who value loyalty, who understand the weight of trust, who will never betray you for personal gain. Find them, keep them close. Let go of the rest. Betrayal reveals more about the betrayer than the betrayed. It shows their true nature, their lack of integrity, their emptiness. But your response to betrayal reveals who you are. Do not become like them. Do not let their choices define you. Walk away with your head held high, knowing that your loyalty was real, even if theirs never was. 6. Lack of empathy and emotional void. Have you ever turned to someone in a moment of pain only to be met with nothing? No concern, no comfort, just cold indifference. You thought they cared, but when you needed them most, they were absent, not physically, but emotionally. This is not strength. This is not stoicism. This is emptiness. Empathy is what connects us as human beings. It allows us to celebrate others' joy and share in their sorrow. But some people lack this entirely. They see emotions as inconveniences, not experiences. Your pain does not move them. Your struggles do not concern them. And your suffering, it is either ignored or exploited. At first, their indifference may seem like composure. They appear calm, unaffected, in control. But look closer. Their lack of reaction is not self-discipline, it is absence. They do not flinch at cruelty. They do not feel guilt when they hurt others. They observe pain like a spectator at a play, detached, unmoved. They may pretend to care when it benefits them, but when true empathy is required, their mask slips. Imagine facing a deep personal crisis, the loss of a loved one, a betrayal, a failure. You confide in them, expecting at least a word of reassurance. Instead, they dismiss your feelings as if they are irrelevant. That's life. You're overreacting. Or worse, they act as if your pain is an inconvenience. This is how they reveal themselves. A person without empathy does not just fail to care about your pain, they fail to care about anyone's. They may offer surface-level kindness, but there is no warmth behind it. Their kindness is transactional. It exists only when there is something to gain. If they cannot use you, they do not acknowledge you. Seneca once said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness, but to someone without empathy, kindness is not an instinct. It is a strategy. They use it when necessary, then discard it when it no longer serves them. And if you are no longer useful, they will watch you struggle without hesitation." The mistake people make is believing they can teach someone like this to care. That with enough love, enough patience, enough understanding, this person will change. But you cannot awaken empathy in someone who does not possess it. You cannot explain emotion to someone who does not value it. So what should you do? Distance yourself. Stop sharing your emotions with those who dismiss them. Stop expecting warmth from someone who has none to give. And if you find yourself questioning whether your feelings are valid because they make you feel otherwise, walk away. Emotional connection should never feel like begging. It is tempting to assume that everyone has at least some level of empathy, that deep down all people care. But this is not true. Some people are truly empty inside. They do not cry for the suffering they see. They do not flinch when they cause harm. They are not burdened by guilt, nor are they moved by love. A Stoic does not waste energy trying to change the unchangeable. If someone repeatedly dismisses your pain, accept it for what it is. Do not explain your emotions to someone who refuses to understand them. Do not seek comfort from someone who cannot offer it. Instead, protect your energy. Surround yourself with people who care, not because they have to, but because they truly do. If someone consistently makes you feel invisible, make yourself invisible to them. They do not deserve access to your emotions. The world is full of people who are capable of deep, genuine connection. Do not waste your time trying to extract empathy from someone who has none. The greatest mistake you can make is staying too long, hoping for something that will never come. Have you ever encountered someone who was completely indifferent to your emotions? How did you recognize it? And how did you walk away? Your story could help someone else recognize the warning signs before it's too late. Let's talk in the comments. 7. Disguised cruelty as care. This is the final red flag, the most deceptive, the most insidious, and perhaps the most dangerous of them all. Have you ever been hurt by someone, only to hear them say, "I'm doing this for your own good"? Have you ever felt controlled, restricted, or belittled, only to be told, "I just care about you"? This is not love. This is not concern. This is manipulation, weaponized as care. True cruelty does not always come in the form of harsh words or physical harm. Sometimes it comes wrapped in affection, disguised as guidance, masked as love. It is the friend who constantly points out your flaws, claiming they are just helping you improve. It is the partner who isolates you from others, insisting they are only protecting you. It is the family member who undermines your confidence, saying they are simply preparing you for the real world. At first, you believe them. You tell yourself they mean well. After all, they claim to have your best interests at heart. But over time, their words do not lift you up, they tear you down. Their actions do not empower you, they weaken you. What they call care does not make you stronger. It makes you dependent, unsure, afraid. And that is exactly what they want. A person who truly cares for you does not need to hurt you to help you. They do not need to break you to build you. Real love, real friendship, real guidance. It does not come with cruelty, nor does it come with control. A mentor may challenge you, but they will never diminish you. A friend may correct you, but they will never belittle you. Someone who genuinely cares will support your growth, not demand your submission. This is how you recognize the difference. Does their presence in your life make you feel stronger or weaker, more independent or more controlled, more confident or more doubtful? Someone who disguises cruelty as care will always leave you feeling less than who you were before. They will make you feel like you owe them something, your trust, your loyalty, your obedience, simply because they claim to be looking out for you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The moment you realize that their concern is a tool of control, you reclaim that power. The moment you stop needing their approval, their influence over you begins to fade. It is tempting to hold on, to believe that maybe, just maybe, they really do care. But watch their actions, not their words. If someone truly wants what is best for you, they will give you freedom, not fear. They will encourage you to make your own choices, not pressure you into following theirs. They will stand by you, not stand over you. If you recognize this pattern in someone, it is time to set boundaries. Do not let their disguised cruelty shape your reality. Stop explaining yourself to those who only listen to correct or control you. Stop mistaking manipulation for love. And most importantly, stop making excuses for them. True care does not come with control. True support does not come with fear. And true love does not come disguised as pain. This is the last red flag, but perhaps the most important one to recognize. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you know the difference between real care and disguised cruelty, you will never let yourself be controlled again. So now the question is, will you listen to your instincts? Will you trust yourself? You have the power to walk away. The only thing they fear is losing control over you. Take it back. Choose your own path. This is your life. Make sure it is filled with people who truly care. Have you ever experienced someone using care as a way to manipulate you? How did you recognize it, and what did you do? Let's share and learn from each other. The more we expose these tactics, the less power they hold over us. We have uncovered 7 red flags, clear warning signs that someone close to you may not have your best interests at heart. Evil rarely announces itself. It manipulates, deceives, and wears a mask of kindness. But once you see through the illusion, you can no longer be controlled. The Stoics taught us that our greatest power lies in our perception. You cannot change who others are, but you can choose who you allow into your life. Protect your peace, guard your energy, and never ignore the signs that someone is eroding your sense of self. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever encountered someone like this? How did you recognize it? How did you protect yourself? Your story might save someone else from falling into the same trap. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this video gave you clarity, like it to let us know. If you believe someone needs to hear this message, share it. And if you want more wisdom on protecting your mind and mastering your life, subscribe now. Your awareness is your shield. Stay strong, stay sharp, and take back your power. See you in the next video.